The Morning Show here on Arise News. In exactly 5 days from now, eligible voters in Edo State will be getting ready to cast their votes in the governorship election, which had captured the attention of the nation in the past few months. Effectively, this election will be the biggest democratic exercise in Nigeria since the coronavirus pandemic made an entry into the country. In the weeks and months leading up to now, Nigeria's electoral umpire, the Independent National Electoral Commission, had made a string of pronouncements, mostly assuring and reassuring the people of Edo State, and indeed all Nigerians, of the need to repose confidence in the democratic process, despite negative prevailing circumstances. Within that time too, INEC, the National Electoral Commission, has had to engage stakeholders in the state, including politicians, this time on the need to play by the rules. Against this backdrop, just how ready is the Commission for this weekend? Joining us now from Benin, the capital of Edo State, to have a conversation around this is Festus Okoye, INEC National Commissioner and Chairman of the Commission's Information and Voter Education Committee. Dr. Festus Okoye, good morning, and thank you for joining us on The Morning Show. Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, good morning.
Good to have you on the program.
I'm doing pretty well.
Okay, I see you are now in Edo State. The other day you were in Ondo, or you are still in...
Exactly.
Okay, very good. I see you are very busy. But quickly, let me ask you, this weekend is the Edo gubernatorial election. Is INEC ready? Are you really ready? Are we going to have a hitch-free, free, fair, credible electoral process as the people of Edo State vote on Saturday to choose the governor who will run the state in the next 4 years?
As a commission, we are ready. Out of the 14 items on the docket of our timetable and the schedule of activities, we have already implemented 12 of them. The only 2 items remaining revolves around the end of campaigns and the election itself. Now, by 12 noon today, we are going to have our last stakeholders meeting, and all the political parties will be there, religious leaders, civil society groups and organizations, and the media, including the security agencies, will be at this stakeholders meeting. Then by tomorrow, the candidates and the political parties will sign a peace accord that will be superintended by our former head of state, Abdulsalami Abubakar, and the Bishop of the Sokoto Diocese, Bishop Matthew Kuka. So to that particular extent, we have gone very far. All our non-sensitive materials have already been batched and deployed to the various local governments, and the sensitive materials will be in Edo State any moment from now. So we are very ready, and we have deployed additional resources in terms of resident electoral commissioners to assist the resident electoral commissioner for Edo State in the conduct of this election. And we also have 3 national commissioners that are going to coordinate the 3 senatorial zones. So on the part of the commission, we are ready for this election.
It's very pertinent that you speak for the commission, and you reinstated that twice in this reaction to that question. As a commission, we are ready. On our part, we are ready. But are there concerns about other stakeholders in these elections? What have you observed as an electoral body? Because truly, we cannot say we have had a free, fair, or credible elections, just based on INEC's preparedness alone. So what are you observing? What are your concerns? What are the fears?
Well, as an electoral management body, we believe that the conduct of free, fair, and transparent election is a multi-stakeholder venture. No single entity, no single agency, and no single commission can go it alone. So to that particular extent, we have had dialogue with the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, made up of all the security agencies. And we have dialogue with them. We are putting heads together to make sure that we don't have any challenges in terms of the deployment of security for this particular election. Because the people must be assured that they can come out and vote and that nothing untoward will happen to them. We are also dialoguing and talking to the political parties to tone down their rhetorics, eschew violence, and allow the people to be the only determinants on who gets elected and who does not get elected. So we are talking with all the critical stakeholders in the electoral process, including the civil society groups and organizations, and also the media. So there are concerns relating to violence. There are also concerns relating to what the political parties are doing. And there are also concerns relating to effectiveness of security deployment. But all these things we are taking on board, and we are meeting and consulting and talking with all the security agencies and all the critical stakeholders to make sure that the people can come out and vote in safety.
Mr. Okoye, you talked about 14 items. You said you've executed 12. Can you enumerate some of those 14 items for us? And what will it take you to do to, reach those other 2 items so we know it's 14 over 14 before the elections?
Well, as I pointed out, part of the items we had on our docket relates to the issue of nomination by political parties. That one had already been concluded. They have nominated their candidates and forwarded their names and personal particulars. And we have also published the names and personal particulars of all the candidates in Edo State. The political parties have also nominated their poll agents or party agents in relation to this particular election. There have been claims and objections relating to the candidates, and the candidates have also done substitution and forwarded the final list of their candidates. So these are some of the things in the docket of the Electoral Management Body, and we have sorted out 12 of them. So the only items remaining now will be the end of campaigns, which will soon end, and the election itself. So in terms of preparations, in terms of the activities on our electoral calendar, we have faithfully implemented all of them, and we don't have challenges with any of our items.
Well, quickly, this election is taking place in a very different context, in the context of COVID-19. So many Nigerians would like to know what protocols have you been able to put in place to ensure that not just your ad hoc staff, but also voters on polling day abide by COVID-19 guidelines? And beyond that, we understand that INEC is insisting that the key gladiators must sign a peace accord. How far have you gone with that? And what is the guarantee now that you are on the ground? What have you seen that those political actors in Edo State who have been very violent with their rhetoric will abide by the peace accord?
Well, the peace accord will be signed tomorrow at the Kenzua Hall at the Cultural Center. Some of the Inspector General of Police will arrive today. The former head of state, Abdul Salami Abubakar, will arrive today. The Bishop of the Sokoto Diocese is already in Edo State for the purposes of this particular peace accord. So we are very confident that this peace accord will be signed tomorrow. And as you're already aware, the Oba of Benin met with all the candidates in this particular election and pleaded with them, so to say, to eschew violence and be temperate in their use of language. And the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission has been here before, met with the Oba of Benin, and also met with some of the gladiators, and we have also enjoined them to eschew violence. In terms of the voters themselves, we have carried out a very robust sensitization program, and we have made it very, very clear that every voter that comes to the polling unit on election day must wear a face mask or a face covering, and that anybody who is not wearing a face mask or who does not have a face covering will not be allowed to vote. We have also, in conjunction with the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, procured infrared thermometers for all the polling units. So we are going to measure the temperature of all the voters that will come to the polling unit on election day. And the issue of physical distancing will also be emphasized. So we have taken very creative and innovative precautions that will enable us to comply with all the protocols that have been laid down. And if the voters cooperate, and we believe they will cooperate, and if the political parties cooperate, and we believe that they will cooperate, we are going to have a good election so that the health of the people will not be endangered and their safety will not be...
Hello, Dr. Okoye? Wow, what happened there?
Okay.
Dr. Okoye, are you still with us?
Dr. Okoye, if you can hear me? Oh, okay, I think we lost connection with him.
Yes, I was going to ask Festus Okoye that where he says there will be thermometers
to check
temperature. So what is the threshold? So if somebody suddenly comes to the polling booth and the temperature reads
above 37, what happens?
What happens? Will the person not vote? So these are little things that I think that the average voter would like to know.
Yeah. And
okay, Dr. Okoye, Festus Okoye.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, we lost you for a minute, and during that interval, we were saying here, you know, that, well, you talked about people's temperature being taken at the polling booth. And we raised the point that, okay, what happens? What is the threshold? If somebody comes to the polling booth and the temperature is above 37 degrees, would that person be disenfranchised? Is that part of the INEC protocol?
Well, we are not going to allow a single voter to endanger the health of all the persons coming to the polling units, and we are also not going to allow the person to endanger the safety of all election officials. At that particular point, what is more important is the health of the voter that has shown signs of being unwell. So we will activate our protocols, and then we are going to have persons from the Ministry of Health that will take the person away and go and check what the problem is, and give the person the requisite medical attention. Because at that moment, what is important is the health of the individual and also the health of the voters and the health of election officials.
It sounds like a very challenging task in conducting these elections. I mean, just checking everybody's temperature alone and ensuring that, you know, they are officials of the Ministry of Health at every polling unit. That must be very daunting. But I want to ask you about the credibility of the final process of the poll, which has come to question a lot of times when we see these cases going to court. The collation, conclusion, and the announcement of results is as important as the voting process itself. INEC came up with a solution sort of to that in the Nasarawa by-election by, you know, announcing that there will be INEC results viewing portal. Tell us about that, and how will that really improve the credibility of this final stage of the elections? Are you even deploying that in the Edo State election?
Definitely, we are going to deploy the ZPAD for the purposes of uploading from EC8A into a central portal through which every Nigerian who logs into that particular portal can view the results coming out from the polling units. Prior to this particular period, one of the concerns that people have raised relates to the credibility of the collation process, that when votes move from the polling unit to the collation centers, we normally have challenges. So to that particular extent, we designed this particular portal in order to improve the final collation of results. So we believe that we have introduced a mechanism and a protocol that will enable us to improve the transparency of the election collation process so that Nigerians will repose confidence in the final outcome of the election. So we are going to deploy the ZPAD for the purposes of uploading the results from the polling units into a central portal.
Right. What conversations are you having as regards security? And I say this because Yaga Africa did a research and a survey recently, and they showed that most areas in the state will be inundated with violence. Do we have adequate protection per polling unit in Edo State? And if not, what's the conversation you're having with the security authorities as regards that?
Well, as an electoral management body, we have recalibrated our polling units. And we have also designed an architecture, a framework with the security agencies on the deployment of election security officials to the polling units and outside the polling units. At the level of the polling units, we are still insisting that we are going to have unarmed security personnel manning the polling units. But at the outer cordon of the polling units, not too far from the polling units, we are going to have armed security personnel so that the moment there's a problem at the polling unit, the armed ones can intervene quickly and give some protection and support to the unarmed ones. So we are looking at all the variables. By today, at the stakeholders meeting, I'm sure that the Inspector General of Police will give additional details on the security measures that is being taken. And as you are aware, some commissioners of police have been posted to this place, and the Deputy Inspector General of Police has also been posted to take charge of the issue of security. So we believe, we hope that the political parties will cooperate by calling their supporters to order so that we don't have any untoward incident that may likely compromise the security of the elections. But we are doing everything possible to make sure that the voters who go to the polling units are protected.
Well, Festus Okoye, we're going to wrap it up very quickly, but before we go, the peace accord that will be signed tomorrow, you have told us that General Abdulsalami Abubakar is on the ground, Bishop Kukah is also on the ground. Now, that peace accord, if it is broken, are there any consequences, or this is just a wish accord? And then just to piggyback on the question about security before we go, you know, you were in Akure, Ondo State, and a container load of smart card readers went up in flames. Where are we with that? You promised in the statement you issued that will be investigated. Any details in terms of the investigation? But first, the peace accord, and then the smart card readers that were set ablaze in Akure, Ondo State.
Well, in terms of the peace accord, I believe that persons who want to govern a particular state and decide out of their own volition without compulsion to put their hands in a paper guaranteeing peace and security before and after the elections will keep to their words and abide by whatever they have said they will do. So it's really at a moral level. It does not have any legal connotation or any legal consequence. But we believe that the people will be watching, and the people will hold them to their words, and Nigerians should hold them to their words. And we believe that as persons who aspire to the highest public office in the state, that they will keep to their words. So it's at the level of of morality and also at the level of politics, so to say. In relation to the smart card readers in Ondo State, I left Ondo State immediately on the day after the incident. I have not been given any update relating to the issue of the investigation, but I am fully aware that the investigation has already commenced, and I'm also aware that we have already finalized arrangements to mobilize smart card readers from another state in order to replace the ones that have already been burnt. So in relation to the issue of smart card readers, we don't have a problem because it's a one-state election, and we have enough smart card readers to conduct the election in Ondo State. But I believe the investigation is continuing, but I don't have any update in relation to that. Anytime I get an update, definitely I will share that update with the Nigerian public.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Festus Okoye, INEC National Commissioner, Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee. Thank you for joining us this morning on The Morning Show.